This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, as always, it does not matter who the host is, that is for sure. Anyways, today's Tuesday, January the 24th of 2023, day numero 24 of the year, and only 340 days remaining to go. So anyways, how are you? How are things going on in your neck of the woods as we're getting to hang out on this terrific Tuesday? So did anything cool happen in your end of the world in the overnight? Because I'm always looking for those cool things that occur, and then I go, can we talk about those cool things or not talk about those cool things? Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Radio.
Oh, yes, doing the Biggins radio over there. Yes, you can take a listen to that little radio station on iHeartRadio if you're so inclined to do so. You know, that big platform that's in the U.S. known as the iHeart of the world. Formerly Clear Channel, now iHeart, that stuff. We hang out over there live streaming 24/7 on that station. Yes, we do. It is 24/7. It is not just a podcast, as some people deem over there, as we go, move, and groove. So if you want to interact with the show, let's kind of get it out of the way right away. Callinradio.com. Right there, callinradio.com. Easiest way of doing so. Also, if you want to watch the visual radio side of this, you can go to safetyfm.com and click on visual radio, or you can go to radiobig.fm and click on visual radio. We do also own safety.fm, just in case if the aficionados just didn't see that wasn't what it was about and all that stuff. So we talk about safety in the news and safety, if that's what you're kind of interested in. We tie it all in together because I think it's important just to talk a little bit about everything that's going on, opposed to just one or the other. I remember there was a pretty big prominent website that was like, that we're going to have to take some of your stuff down because you just don't only talk about safety. And I'm just like, okay, cool. I don't care, but I appreciate it. And I thought it was always kind of a weird thing, because I was like, hold on. If I only talk about safety, that's not like it's a bad thing. But that would be like saying you can't have kids because you only talk about safety? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. Anyways, let me not get into that tangent because that's the tangent that gets me in trouble. I don't know who the hell gets me in trouble with, but it can get me in trouble. Maybe that's the better way of taking a look at at it. So anyways, with that being said, let's start talking about what was trending in the overnight, and I guess some of the stuff that we're going to discussing here on the tap.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's go with it. So what's on tap for today's episode? Elon Musk takes the stand in court, and Billy McFarland appears to be onto his next grit. We'll talk about that. President Joe Biden in the Twitterverse makes some audacious claims, while Kamala Harris talks about the Declaration of Independence. We can talk a little bit about that if we decide to get swampy. Tim Allen denies flashing Pamela Anderson, and the activist group wants one of Aretha Franklin's hit songs banned. So we can talk about that. And the colorful M&M's spokes candies are being replaced by Maya Rudolph, and actress Zoe Saldana hits the big movie milestone. We'll talk a little bit more about that if you care to know. And that was some of the stuff that people were talking about yesterday, according to the verses of verses and all that kind of fun stuff. So there you go. So that will get you moving and grooving as we are talking. Anyway, so with that being said, let's do this. Let's bring in some professional broadcasters. Let them tell you exactly what the hell's going on inside of the world of the news, because I think you're going to want to know what is going on as we're doing the casting of the casting, the newscasting, and all that kind of fun stuff, because that's going to be important, so don't worry about that. We're going to bring some Mark Mayfield in here right now. Let him tell you about what the hell's going on with the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. Police say they believe the suspect accused of killing 7 people at 2 different locations in California acted alone. The related shootings happened Monday in Half Moon Bay, just south of San Francisco. Authorities say the elderly suspect turned himself in and is cooperating. This follows a weekend shooting where a suspect shot and killed 11 people in Monterey Park in Southern California before killing himself the next day. President Biden will continue delivering for the American people despite scrutiny over his handling of classified documents from his time as vice president and senator.
And he was very clear with the response of what we're currently seeing. And he says, I take this very seriously. He said, I didn't know that the documents were there.
That's according to White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, who referred reporters' questions on the matter to the White House counsel's office and the Department of Justice. More classified materials were found at Biden's Washington, Delaware home during a search on Friday. That marks the 4th time officials found classified documents at Biden's old office or residence. All 4 Oath Keeper defendants have been found guilty of seditious conspiracy in the Capitol riot. Brian Shook reports.
Prosecutors said Roberto Minuta, Joseph Hackett, David Morshell, and Edward Vallejo used a perverted version of American history to justify their actions on that day in 2021. The maximum sentence for the rarely used Civil War-era statute is 20 years in federal prison. Oath Keepers founder Stuart Rhodes was also found guilty of seditious conspiracy last year. I'm Brian Shook.
And more tech layoffs are in the works as Intel reportedly plans to lay off 544 employees in California. The layoffs include 176 employees at its Folsom location and 200 at its Mission campus in Santa Clara. Intel says the layoffs are part of a right-sizing to cut $3 billion in 2023 and as much as $10 billion by 2025. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. 7 people have been shot dead in 2 separate locations in Half Moon Bay, a community south of San Francisco. Brazil's airlifted 16 people from the Yanomami rainforest tribe for medical treatment. The rising cost of living's pushing child poverty to unprecedented levels in parts of the UK, according to a new report. And Japan's Prime Minister's warning depopulation's pushing the country to the brink of social dysfunction.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
RNC Chair Ronna McDaniel is facing a challenge as she runs for her 4th term. Lisa Taylor reports.
Harmeet Dillon, an ally of former President Trump's, is running against her. She supported Trump's attempt to overturn the 2020 presidential election result. MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell is also running, but Dillon has many other friends of Trump backing her. McDaniel told Politico she's still confident. She also insisted, "We just can't afford to take our foot off the gas." I'm Lisa Taylor.
Former President Trump is lashing out at Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and his wife Elaine Chao. In a post on Truth Social, Trump used a racist nickname to refer to Chao and questioned whether she and McConnell had something to do with President Biden's alleged mishandling of classified documents. He said McConnell is very close to Biden, Democrats, and China, and gives them all whatever they want. Chao previously served as Trump's transportation secretary. In a previous post, Trump called McConnell either the worst negotiator in the history of politics or a stone-cold crook. Arizona Congressman Ruben Gallego is running for the U.S. Senate. Michael Kastner fills us in.
The Democrat announced his bid with a Twitter video.
I will be challenging Kyrsten Sinema for the United States Senate, and I need all of your support.
Sinema hasn't officially announced that she'll run for re-election after deciding to leave the Democratic Party, and now she's an independent. In an interview with CBS News last month, Gallego revealed some Democratic senators had urged him to run against Sinema. I'm Michael Kastner.
The FDA is changing the COVID-19 vaccine process. In documents shared online, the agency said the process would follow a similar format to the flu vaccine that would possibly include streamlining vaccine composition, immunization schedules, and updates on COVID-19 vaccines as more information becomes available. And the Moreno family won't be selling the Los Angeles Angels after all. Team owner Artie Moreno announced on Monday that the family is ending the exploratory process to sell the team and will maintain control of the franchise for the foreseeable future. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work. Sorry, I'm late. Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working. Who, me? Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Let's Start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday that I want to call Friday for some unknown reason. Anyways, let's take it from the top of the shit list because that's what we're going to be doing. Anyways, big day today if you're an Apple fan person because, listen, the new M2 Pro and M2 Max Pro line of the MacBook comes out today. And listen, don't get me wrong. I love the Macs as much as the next person, and I have been sitting here debating what should be the next thing I do when it comes to that. What are you thinking? Not what I should do. What are you thinking? Are you going to go out and get one? Now, they are saying that the Mac Mini, the new Mac Mini, might be one of the best computers on the market that's out there, price point, and for what it gives you for service. Believe me, this is not an Apple infomercial, even though it does sound like one at the moment. But it does have some things out there that most computers can't do. And their Apple-based silicon, this seems to be pretty great. I will tell you, we kind of run everything around here with the Mac Studio. It seems to work very good in regards to what the hell we have going on around here. But we are Mac geekies around here. That's kind of the way that it goes. So let's get into some stuff that's coming off the shit list because that's what we talk about around here. Billy McFarland, yes, is out of prison on his own prowl for his next venture, according to NBC reports. Now, if the name sounds familiar and you can't remember who he is, well, McFarland rose to infamy after the Fyre Festival catastrophe that happened back in 2017 when he fraudulently oversold the Island Music Festival experience that turned out to be a total sham. He was sentenced to 6 years on various fraud convictions. Now he has a new venture called, well, it's kind of sounds like pirate. It's like PYRT. The project is sparse on details, but promises some kind of virtual reality experience where participants control what happens on the island, whatever that means. So is it kind of like the virtual reality aspect of, we'll just say Fantasy Island, because that's what it's starting to sound like. McFarland is technically a fugitive from the Bahamian government, so he'll have to plan around that too. Also worth noting, as part of his sentence, McFarland owes more than $25 million in restitution on the stuff that he did. So something to think about as we are talking.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, Elon Musk said in court testimony on Monday that he unequivocally wanted to take Tesla private as a jury weighs in whether he intentionally misled investors back in 2018 when he tweeted about the plans to do exactly that. While taking the electric car company private never happened, but wait, Musk does say that he was actively engaged with Saudi Arabia's public investment fund to fund the buyout, but that papers were never signed to close the deal. So what do you think about it? Because listen, I know that, if he wants to take it private, that's on him. Nobody else, but do you think that he did it with the intent of malice? Because here's what happens, and you know this. This is going to fall into the court of public opinion, because, we all have an opinion. Not that I'm saying you're opinionated or that I'm opinionated, but we all have an opinion about what the things that are going on out there. think about it, just kind of the way that it goes. Anyways, in some other news, layoffs have hit the streaming giant Spotify, which announced on Monday it is laying off about 600 staff around the globe. However, the company is offering 5-month severance and maintaining health benefits during the severance period as well. So what do you think about this? It's becoming interesting to me on how many tech companies are laying people off. And it's like a fire sale in regards of what's going on, and probably a terrible term to use. But when you start taking a look at this, you go, what is going on, and are they seeing something that us normal humans are not seeing out there, that they're saying, okay, it's time to call it? I don't know. It's something worth talking about. That is for sure. Nearly the entire nation of Pakistan endured a power outage on Monday, which officials have blamed on voltage surge. So the loss of power is a daily concern for people there, but not usually on such a widespread scale. These outages also kill running water, which can't flow without pumps operating. So that kind of gets it a little bit scary as we are talking about this. I mean, what do you think about it? Have you ever lived anywhere where there has been issues related to the power going out and things not working out too well? I mean, I don't know. I remember when I used to live in Hispanic America, where we would either have the water go out or the electricity go out. Yeah, I mean, just kind of the way that it worked. And nothing against it. It was just kind of an interesting thing on how the things functioned. Believe me, this is why I'm a huge fan of solar power, because I'm just kind of like, now I'm paranoid that things are going to go out anyway. So that's kind of how I see it. Not that you care, but just wanted to share anyways. Anyways, the soaring cost of eggs has led to an increase in egg seizure at the southern border as people try to smuggle cheaper offering from Mexico. The San Diego Customs and Border Patrol office tweeted that last week, a reminder that failing to declare a certain agricultural item carries a penalties of up to $10,000 in fine. These are some expensive eggs, that's for sure. Worth noting, one of the biggest reasons for the increased cost of eggs is the brutal bird flu season. Regulating the import of eggs from other countries is meant to prevent the spread of such disease. Meanwhile, the California Strawberry Commission reports that strawberry growers could face $200 million in losses following the torrential flooding this season. However, the commission is optimistic that things will dry out well enough for the spring and summer harvest season. What do you think? I don't know. A lot of stuff going on right there. And I know that here in Florida, they do have a festival that normally occurs in towards the end of February, beginning of the month of March, that is known as a Strawberry Festival. It happens kind of in the central region, so it'll be interesting to see what's going on with that crop as well on the other side of the United States, that is for sure. Anyways, let's start talking real quick about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the charts, because people normally want to know this. So talking about Spotify once more. At number 5, according to Spotify, is Drake and 21 Savage with Rich Flex. At number 4 is Metro Boomin feature Chris Brown with Superhero. At number 3 is Metro Boomin, The Weeknd, and 21 Savage with Creepin'. At number 2 is Za with Kill Bill. And at the number 1 spot is Miley Cyrus with Flowers. That's according to Spotify's top 5 songs. If you look at the other side for iTunes, it goes something like this. At number 5 is Taylor Swift with Antihero. At number 4 is Plain White T's Here's Their Delia. At number 3, Hardy and Lainey Wilson with Wait in the Truck. Hey now. At number 2, Sam Smith and Kim Petras with Unholy. And at the number 1 spot, actually taking it on both sides of the equation, Miley Cyrus with Flowers. Sounds like some people were definitely waiting for some new Miley Cyrus, is what it's starting to sound like. Anyways, with that being said, I think it's time to move forward a little bit. Let's bring some John Smalls inside of here and let him tell you what exactly is going on with the world of the market.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Tuesday, January 24th, 2023. Equity markets started the week strong and pushed the S&P 500 up more than 1% at the day's high. The takeaway for investors is that gains were capped just above last week's highs and at a level that could expect to provide stiff resistance. The candle formed has a visible upper shadow confirming the presence of resistance and the possibility that this is as high as the index will move for now. The rally was driven by easing fear of inflation. The decline in the pace of inflation is good news, but conditions are still pressuring the outlook for the S&P 500 earnings. With the outlook for S&P 500 earnings in decline, it's almost certain the index will fall. This week is the first real week of peak earnings reporting season for the fourth quarter, so this outlook could change. The risk is that it won't and may worsen. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thanks, John Small, for that information right there as we are talking about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the market. Let me tell you what I found on my end. The Dow added about 254 points on Monday to close at 33,629. The S&P added about 47 points to close at 4,019. And the NASDAQ added about 223 points to close at 11,364. West Texas Intermediate closed at $81, and Brent crude closed at about $88. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.42 on Monday. Bitcoin ticked up on Monday, adding about $200 to its trading, just over $22,900. There were more than 3,540 flights delayed within, into, out of the United States on Monday, and more than $360 million. 360 such cancellations. So some things to think about there. Also, what else was going on? The Mega Millions drawing will be for $31 million tonight. That's the jackpot, or a $16.5 million payout. So I guess if you want to play the game, you still got some time to do so. What do you think? What do you think? Just some stuff to do. Anyways, take a listen to this. Let's get into some other news. A woman is speaking out after the claims that her drink was spiked while traveling through Denver International Airport. Madison Herman said that it happened on her way back to Cleveland by herself over on an overseas trip.
I survived it, so I want to use my voice to help. It happened to me, so it can happen to you.
Herman had a layover in Denver on January the 6th, so she grabbed a drink to kill some time at the airport. A drug test revealed that she had, benzos inside of her system, which she currently is not prescribed. Herman boarded the United Airlines flight and believes that 3 men and a woman also on board were conspiring together. She believes that the incident was linked to human trafficking, alerting the flight crew and receiving the security escort off the plane to her family in Cleveland. Herman says the United was aware and that the Cleveland FBI office told her that are investigating the case. After seeing the drug test, there is also no suspect named so far. Madison Herman says that her first instinct was to throw up and that the woman targeting her made an interaction and then had a phone conversation in the bathroom while Herman was in there.
It was done, and I heard them on the phone. It was a guy on the other line who said, well, this is the first time we've done this, that we've had someone throw up. And so at that point, all my red flags went up.
Interesting times, that is for sure. See, at this point, when we start talking about some of these oddities that go on out there, it's kind of like you're never really 100% safe. And I don't ever think that you ever are anyways, but you have to be checking everything as you go, because you just never know. You don't know what the hell's going on. It becomes an interesting time for sure. In some other news, 9 people are facing charges in an alleged drug trafficking organization operating out of West Baltimore, Maryland. Attorney General Anthony Brown announced the arrest and indictment of members of the so-called WIC Squad based in and around the 2500 block of Edmondson Avenue.
The investigation was a coordinated effort under the Maryland Criminal Intelligence Network and the city's Group Violence Reduction Strategy.
Brown says that those arrested face dozens of charges, including gun offenses and possession of the intent to distribute fentanyl and cocaine. 3 of the suspects have already pleaded guilty in the case and are serving prison time. The investigation led to seizures of 11 guns and large amounts of illegal drugs, ammunition, and drug packaging material. I would like to know what exactly the drug packaging material looked like. Baltimore Police Commissioner Michael Harrison says the investigation, I can't even speak, and the investigation continues.
We believe this investigation helped to prevent shootings in recent months. And we anticipate that ballistics testing of the recovered firearms could potentially lead to other crimes.
Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown runs down some of the charges.
The individuals are charged with as many as 40 counts, including possession with intent to distribute fentanyl and cocaine, conspiracy to distribute controlled dangerous substances, and firearms offenses.
I mean, what the hell's going on out there? I mean, I just don't get it, but I guess that's the way that the world turns. Anyways, most New Yorkers believe that embattled Congressman George Santos should resign. Trey Thomas has the deets.
College survey says 59% say he should step down and 56% say they view Santos unfavorably. The poll was taken last week when Santos was denying allegations that he took money that was raised for a disabled veteran's dog. I'm Trey Thomas.
I don't get it. I really just don't get it. What's going on in the scene today, but that's neither here nor there, I guess. Some of the things that go out there. Anyways, Baltimore County Public School Superintendent Darrell Williams will not seek new 4-year contract. He made the announcement on Monday after the Baltimore County Parent and Student Coalition took a vote of no confidence, citing the lack of leadership skills as a key issue. The coalition president, Amy Adams, says the new direction is needed.
We just feel we need a strong leader who's really invested in our community.
Williams was appointed in 2019, and his term has been challenging with COVID, ransomware attack, and increasing school violence. In addition, some parents, teachers, and council members say that he failed to adequately address low teacher and student morale and teaching shortages. County Executive John Orwitsky thanks Williams for his service and wishes him well in his future endeavors. Ooh, you got future endeavor. You never want that. Olowski says that he trusts that the Board of Education will conduct an exhaustive search to identify a visionary, inclusive, and results-driven leader. The coalition president, Amy Adams, says that Williams still has several months with the school system.
I hope that with his time here, he is dedicated to still doing the work, still supporting our teachers and our kids, and, maybe making some positive impact so his legacy goes out on a good note.
So there you go. I mean, there is nothing good when you get that vote of no confidence. I mean, let's just be realistic. I don't know the guy. We don't know the scenarios, but we know some things that are coming out of that particular area as we are talking about what is going on in Baltimore County, because we've been talking about it over here for a few weeks at this particular point. So as you take a look around, what do you think when you hear that term vote of no confidence? It kind of makes you puzzle some things. Not picking on the dude, but hey, you know how it's going.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's get into it. It is 32 minutes past the top of the hour.
Here is our main story on a Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, 32 minutes past, 32 minutes gone, and we've hung out during 32 minutes, more than likely at this particular point of the stage of how we're doing the things that we do. And today's one of those ones that, we have to ponder some of these things. And we have to ponder some of those things and ponder some of those other things and all that kind of fun stuff. So this morning I'm hanging out on the LinkedIn of the world because I'm taking a look around and taking a look at some of these things. And I'm not picking here. I'm just talking. So understand this. I'm taking a look around and somebody starts promoting an event that's called Learning from Incidents. Nothing wrong with that. Good title. And it has some speakers and it has some things that are going on. And you're looking at it and going, okay, well, this seems like it's something that will be extremely interesting to attend. And I'm sitting back for a moment and I go, but hold on. That title to me sounds familiar. And I was like, why is there something, why is my spider senses, if I may call it that, even though that's not really what it is, but why do I have the tingling in the brain that this sounds similar to something else that I've heard? And believe me, it's not that titling will never be similar. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking about it, and then it dawns on me that a few weeks ago, when I was at the Safety 2 Practical Application Conference, I listened to a speech that was called Why Learning from Accidents does little to improve safety. So we had one that was called Learning from Incidents that's coming up. And then I had just recently heard one that was called Why Learning from Accidents Does Little to Improve Safety. Now, here's the gig. I sit back and I go, hold on, why is there this commonality in regards of titling? Why is one pro and why is one against and blah, 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 blah. You get the point, because you're going to see all kinds of things throughout your career as we go of how people will take a look at things and go, okay, this applies to me, this doesn't apply to me, that does apply to me, and so on. And that's the way that it should be. Don't get me wrong. But when you hear this, what do you think is accurate? Can you learn from incidents? Or learning from accidents has very little to improve safety? Which one do you kind of stand by? And at what point in your career do you lean one over the other? And it's not that I'm saying there's mixed messaging, because one can sit here and say that, but that's not what I'm saying. I am a true believer, because, you know, when you say that you're a believer, you don't have to have a lot of science behind the factoids of what you're going to say next. Or when you say, in my opinion, I think that when it comes to certain things, that you have this great aspect of doing this where you can turn around and say, okay, this is what I need in my lifetime right now. But it might not be what you need in your lifetime at another point, or vice versa. And that is always the great thing about this. If you take a look around, there are always different thoughts. There are always different mindsets. There is always different technology. There's always different lessons on which one does work and does not work for you. And I have always been a big proponent that you have to listen to both sides of the equation to be able to understand it better. I try very strongly not to be narrow-minded and only learn one aspect, the one that I am going to enjoy. I will sometimes take dives into things that I'm interested in researching months on end, even if I don't like the subject, not to convince myself, but this way I can understand the model better than I would understand if I did no research into it whatsoever. Now, I will tell you, and I haven't really discussed this on this show, but simulation theory has been something that I have been looking into quite a bit lately, and I have been probably doing that now at this particular point. I want to say that research in some way, shape, or form has been going on for probably about 5 years. And is it something that I believe in? Is it something that I think there's enough science to prove it? I think there's enough science to want you to continue to learn more. Are you willing to take it that far in regards of wanting to know something? I don't know. That's the stuff that you always have to think about. How far are you willing to go down to learn about something, even if you don't agree with the methodology or the science that's behind it? Maybe that's something to think about. So the next time you're debating or thinking about something on why you think it might apply to you, why would you not look at the other side of the equation and say, this might be something to look into as well? Maybe that's something to think about on this lovely Tuesday.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with Home Title Lock, you're inviting home title fraud, one of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know Our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks put a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
You're outside the Perez family home just waiting for the... And there they go. Almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Look through your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, The Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Climbing every mountain, keep both eyes on the top, and nothing's gonna tell me to stop. Oh, push me through the fire, all I'm gonna feel is the heat, burning underneath of my feet. Ooh, so call me crazy, tell me lies, it won't stop me, watch me rise, no more anchors holding me down, 'cause all I need is more. One more hour, one more minute, one more chance for me.
Okay, there you go. 44 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out. Yeah, this one right here is called More, featuring John Mullins. This one's actually by Ryan Pruitt. Available on Spotify and iTunes. And just in case you're lost in the sequence of the events, you are still listening to the Rated R Safety Show on Radio Big and Safety FM. Yeah, for most people, it's known as a simulcast. So there you go. Okay, all I need is more. I like it. I need some more too. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's thanks Ryan Pruitt for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show, because that's what we do. That's what we do around here in regards to talking about stuff. So let's go into a couple of different things real quick. Before I forget, let's talk about our Safety Differently event that's taking place in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Yes, you can do that real quick by going to safetyfm.io. That's safetyfm.io to find out what exactly is going on inside of the world of events. That's the Safety Differently workshop that will be taking place on March the 6th through the 9th. You have the option, of course, of going to all 4 days if you're so inclined to do so. Hang out in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and learn from Todd Conklin, Martha Acosta, Bob Edwards, and Mark Yeston. And, of course, I will be there doing the broadcasting because that's what we do out of this station. So we'll do some of the stuff over there. Just keep in mind that the transition of time becomes a very interesting thing because now we're talking about doing this at, well, let's see. That would be at their time, 5 o'clock in the morning. And listen, I get it. I would want to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning doing this or listening to this live. But, I mean, just letting you know how how the equation works out and the things that we do. So there you go. That's some information for you. Anyways, let's get into some mix of stuff as we're talking and moving and grooving because I think it's going to be important. Let me tell you, before I forget, about the most important thing that you'll ever hear me talk about, and that's about my friends at the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and your loved ones, and the best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org, or you can text the word TALK to 988 or call 988. That will get everything moving and grooving for you relatively quick. Listen, I know that there are times in life that things are not easy. I get it. Believe me, I get it. All you need to do is reach out to them. They'll be there to be able to help you. We all need a little help sometimes. It's okay. Those things do happen. All you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org or call 988 or text the word TALK to 988. Let's get you back into some more things that are going on inside of the world of the news because that's what we do around here. So let's talk about Uber Cool. Yeah, that's Uber Cool. The CEO of Uber has revealed what he feels the future of ride-hauling service looks like. Dara, and I'm not going to be able to say the last name because I will just butcher it, says that someday Uber drivers won't need four wheels, front-facing seats, or top speed over 50 miles per hour, just drive people or items around in its city. So the company is working with automakers to create custom-built cars. He pictures the electric vehicle with three wheels that would have a much smaller footprint in terms of environmental, but also traffic flow. In those vehicles, passengers might be facing one another or to ease the interaction. And he says that in many cities like New York that have low speed limits, which higher horsepowers and turn large expensive battery packs unnecessary. Uber has already pledged to use only fully electric rides in the U.S. and in Europe by 2030. That's 7 years. If you really kind of think about it, it's not that long. So this guy has never driven in the snowstorm, has he? I mean, that's what the other thing. And he figures that having passengers sit face-to-face will also solve the problem of people throwing up in his cars. I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see exactly what's going on. Have you been inside of an electric car? And have you been in an electric car where it's extremely cold? Because I think that changes some things for some, but that's just me speaking out loud. So there you go. Let's talk about some new developments that are going on out there. Researchers have come up with a lipstick that includes cranberry extract as a way to fight viruses, bacteria, and fungi. A recent study that lipsticks is one of the many products that contains chemicals that can trigger changes in hormone function and even lead to breast cancer. And cranberry extracts has demonstrated the ability to deactivate high harmful microbes. Lo Angel Serrano Arroca and the team used cranberry extracts for creating deep red lipstick tint, which is also protective against harmful germs. So there you go, some stuff to think about if you're big into lipstick. Also, scientists at the University of Maryland have developed a type of paper towel that absorbs 3 times more water-based liquids using hydrogel. A gelatin-like material, hydrogel, has always been able to absorb more liquid than cloth or paper, but they become crumbly and brittle when they dry out. So to fix this, the team has created a way for more desirable properties of both product into one, and even the quicker pepper upper. Yeah, that sounds like a line from somebody else. Okay, KFC has launched a new product that can be used to make your home smell delicious. Fried chicken scented sticks. Yeah, you heard me there. The fast food chain is offering the scent sticks that when lit, it will fill more of your home with the delicious aroma of freshly cooked chicken. As part of a promotion for KFC's new delivery service plan in Japan, and they are giving away the free to customers with a place that order the sticks are shaped and like chicken drumlets, because why would you do anything else, and packaged in a box that looks like a bucket of KFC fried chicken. I can't see any unfortunate mistakes being made with this. Not at all. Not at all. Who's going to mess that up? I mean, come on. Let's be realistic.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, 51 minutes past the top of the hour. I think I need some motivation in my life, so let's do this. If I get motivated, let's get you motivated as well.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Dale. In the year 1800, Tipu Sultan, a ruler of the kingdom of Mysore, said he would rather live 2 days like a tiger than 200 years like a sheep. Now, this quote, or one close to it, has been attributed to many different people, but it seems like this is the original from 1800. Think about that for just a minute. How many of us have lived a whole life so far like a sheep? In some areas of my life, I'm sure I'm probably way more sheepish, but I'll tell you, if you ever get a chance to be a tiger in your life, I encourage it. When you get a chance to roar a little in one part of your life, it might just seep over into other areas of your life as well. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. Cumulative exposure to high blood pressure is now understood to be a big risk factor for dementia. Not just heart health, but also brain. Even moderate consumption of 7 drinks a week doubles the risk of developing stage 2 hypertension, and the risk goes up with a higher amount of drinks. One of the things that alcohol does is alter sleep architecture, either from withdrawal or experiencing its acute effects, like drinking before bed. Sleep plays a role in resetting the beta reflex threshold, which is important for maintaining normal blood pressure. In addition to quitting or reducing alcohol intake, an analysis of 24 clinical trials found that people with high blood pressure who engage in aerobic exercise for at least 6 weeks experience a drastic reduction of systolic blood pressure. For more information on wellness, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
Oh no, self-imploding in airwaves. What a combination of things that is for sure. 53 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's get you into some more newso-ouzo as we are talking here. Take a listen to this one as we are moving forward, coming out of Michigan. The death of a driver who crashed his SUV into several parked cars on the east side of Detroit yesterday morning is being investigated as a homicide. This woman lives in the homes about 100 feet from where the crash occurred.
I mean, that could have been me and my daughter this morning.
Okay, he suffered a severe head injury and died after being rushed to the hospital. His cause of death is still under investigation. The man's SUV caught fire after it came to a stop on part of the roadway. The woman says that she and her daughter were lucky they didn't get hit by the SUV that crashed about 100 feet from their home.
At work before that. We're normally the last ones to leave off the block because I take her to school, then I go to work.
So some interesting stuff definitely coming out of there. Let me give you one more coming out. Let's see. What else do we got? Let's jump around. Let's jump around a little bit and do some of the stuff on this other side of the equation. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date, if you don't mind me doing so. Taking a look back in 2006, Pixar, the production company behind the movies like Toy Story and The Incredibles, Disney had always been their distributor, but they have been sold to Walt Disney back in 2006. The deal went for $7 billion. Yes, that's $7 billion. That's what they sold for. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. James Kennedy turns 31. Tyler Hagen, 31. Luis Suarez, 36. Misha Barton turns 37. Frankie Grande, 40. Tayana Ali turns 44. Ed Helms, 49. Kenya Moore turns 52. And Matthew Lillard turns 53. Neil Diamond turns 82. That's what's going on with some of the birthdays that are happening today. If you're looking at a day of the year to celebrate, well, I got some of those for you. It's National Lobster Day, Macintosh Computer Day. I guess that's a good release day for some of the stuff that's going on. National Just Do It Day. I don't know exactly what you're doing, but you can just go out there and do it. National Peanut Butter Day. Global Belly Laugh Day. National Beer Can Appreciation Day. Do they have one where you appreciate, the keg and then the bottle and all that other stuff, or does it kind of rotate week to week? And then National Talk Like a Grizzly Prospect Day. I don't even know what that means, but I'm sure it means something to someone out there. So you go do that. You do you. You do you. Anyways, let's talk about, did you know Maria Brañas Morera of Spain, who was verified as being the oldest living person in 115 years and 326 days old, is an active Twitter user, according to the Guinness Book of World Records. The spry senior Twitter bio reads, "I am old, very old, but not an idiot." And she frequently shares her words of wisdom on social media platform with the help of her daughter. We talked about this earlier in the week, but I thought it was so much more interesting, some of the additional information that was there, that I said, let's talk about it again. Anyways, talking about some whack facts real quick. It takes about 0.004 gallons of gas to start your car. A violin contains about 70 separate pieces of wood. Houseflies hum in the key of F. Camels store water in their bloodstream, not their hump, which is a fatty tissue. And NASA accidentally erased the original tape of the first steps on the moon. How do you accidentally do that? That's kind of an interesting one to think about as we are talking. If you need a random joke for today, I got one of those for you. You can't believe everything you hear, but you can repeat it. Think about that. Think about the frequency of that happening. Also, what is the smallest, most unusual reason you've ended a relationship? The smallest, most unusual reason that you have ended a relationship. Think about that. If you need a question for the water cooler, try this one. 32% of workers say that this negatively affects their productivity. What is it? Co-workers who talk too much. Think about how the reality of that equation. I can't be here because that person talks way too much and it drives me, we'll just say cray-cray. Let's put it to you in that fashion. Anyways, thank you for taking a listen to what the hell we have going on here on this show. If you hang out here on Safety FM, you'll hang out with Sheldon Primus coming up next, and he'll talk about the Safety Consultant Show and everything that you'll need to know about being a safety consultant. If you go over to radiobig.fm with me, we'll be doing some music over the next couple hours and talking about the world of news and entertainment, so that'll be up to you. So there you go. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it does not make a lot of sense to do what we do around here. That is for sure. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Courage is the commitment to begin without any guarantee of success. Courage is the commitment to begin without any guarantee of success. Do you have the courage to move forward today, knowing that success is not guaranteed? Think about that. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. I love you, mean it, and goodbye. Take care of yourself. Have a fantastic day, and I hope to speak to you soon.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.